What's up guys, it's me, LankyB. So we're kind of doing a bit of a different video with Halo Infinite right around the corner, and at the time of this video being recorded we haven't actually had Halo Infinite gameplay yet. There's a few concerns which we've actually got for Halo Infinite which we want to go over, and these really should be clarified as potential concerns, things which could happen which we're a little bit worried about, but obviously we think Halo Infinite is going to be a god tier of a game. It's going to be fantastic, with a few things wrong obviously, that's kind of just how games work. So we're going to be quickly going through some of our main concerns very quickly, just so you guys can know what we're thinking about, and hopefully free for free you can fix these issues. So let's quickly talk about the campaign. The main things with the campaign, the main concerns that we've got, is that it's going to be a bad story. Halo 4, in my opinion, had quite a good story. However, Halo 5 kind of destroyed the entire purpose of it. Halo 4, we got to see so much with Master Chief. He actually became a good character, rather like in Halo 3 where Master Chief never talks. You know, Master Chief didn't feel like a person at all. Halo 5, we barely got to see any of Chief, so hopefully in Halo Infinite, Halo 6, we are going to be actually seeing Chief kind of be a character like he was in Halo 4, but actually build upon some of the things which have happened to him from Infinite. We don't want to have a bad story, we want to have something good, and since some of the writing team members have actually quit, it's a bit concerning to us. However, we've got faith in 343 to actually deliver a good story. So far it's looking pretty decent. Another concern we've got is that the Prometheans are going to be too prominent in the game. This was a big problem in Halo 5 because we actually enjoy fighting up against the Covenant, and the Prometheans are very boring enemies to fight, at least in my opinion. They don't have the shield, they don't have the main thing which makes Halo Halo. It's just shoot at them for a bit and then they die. Elites have a overshield around them. You have to break the overshield, and if you don't get the kill, he will heal up. Prometheans don't really have that. It's kind of like the Halo 1 elites, which is, it's okay I guess, but hopefully there's some improvements to the Prometheans, and we don't actually have to fight as many of them, especially with the Banished and the Flood, who should be making a return. Hopefully the Banished do make a return because I want to fight Brutes again, and also I do really want to see the Flood return and have the Flood fight the Prometheans. I want to see how that would actually turn out. Also, you kind of want Halo 2 Sentinels to be back in because they was really creative back in the day, and Halo Wars 2 Flood, because that would be awesome. So moving away from the campaign, let's quickly talk about our concerns about the cosmetics. We believe at 343 kind of like quantity over quality, but really what we want is a Breach style armor system, and not like having the Halo 5 system where there's like 40 visor colours, there's 300 helmets, and like 200 chest pieces with minor edits to the coloration of it. We don't really want stuff like that. We'd rather have something like Halo Reach or Halo 4 where you can customize the shoulder pads both left and right, you can customize your utility, your knee pads, your assassinations like in Halo 5, which would be absolutely fantastic, poses like you have in Halo 4 and 5, your helmet obviously, and all those different things. We don't need about a million visor colours, we don't need about a million helmets. We do want quality over quantity like we had in Halo 3 and Halo Reach for that matter. Hopefully 343 can actually add a decent armour customization kind of set, and I do want the Halo 4 kind of like the tags to return. When you hover over a player you see their Spartan doing a cool pose, either like crossing their arms or like, you know, basically breaching up against the door. Things like that would be pretty cool, rather than having to click on the profile like you do in Halo 5. We also want a better ranking system, mostly because the ranking system in Halo 5 is really poor. If you look at the Halo Reach ranking system, which is the main ranking system, which I do enjoy, you level up through playing games, even custom games, and you get different ranks for your Spartan, and as you go up you try and get to the max rank, which is Inheritor. Halo 3 has something very similar. However, it's actually skill based. If you're a skilled player, you will level up faster to get the top rank. So if you see someone who's a high rank, it's like, whoa, this player is actually pretty decent, which is something which I'd also like to see. Make it so like you can get a top rank if you have got a high rank in competitive, just to keep the competitive players happy, or if you've got a true skill rank above a certain level, you can keep progressing through the ranking system maybe a bit quicker than someone else. Make it like a multiplier. Who knows? Anything really is better than the Halo 5 ranking system. I mean, the top rank is 152, a seemingly random number really, and to get to that rank is incredibly difficult. If you actually think about it mathematically, when you get to 146, you're about 6 to 10% of the way to the max rank, which is actually outrageous when you think that it takes so long for you to get to that high rank. Now you've got to grind ahead of you, and that's really just the grinding levels where the fun kind of stops for a lot of players and it just becomes a grind. Even at 151, you're about halfway to the max rank, which is like insane. really, when you think about it. The ranking system shouldn't be a grind. It should be something where you've got cool ranks to kind of say, well, look what this player's doing. and I kind of like the way that they're doing this in Halo MCC. Maybe we could have something like that. Also, the final thing for cosmetics as a concern is the unlocking armor via achievements and challenges. We'd kind of like to be able to unlock some armor from doing a kind of like armor challenge, for an example. Maybe unlocking an achievement like we did in Halo 3. Maybe if you complete the campaign on normal, for an example, you will unlock the military police helmet. Heroic, you will unlock the CQC helmets. Sound familiar? Because that's what they did in Halo Reach. You can unlock these cool armors by completing different parts of the campaign. So when you saw somebody who was basically rocking a cool like gold visor in Halo 4, you knew that they had done the legendary campaign. Add challenges for us, let's do stuff. Maybe make it so if we get a really high score in Firefight, we can unlock a helmet. Reward the players for doing different things and give them the incentive to try different modes. Make players achievement hunt, give us tons of little achievements like in MCC where we've got hundreds and hundreds of achievements. If you do want a way to kind of like stack helmets up, maybe make it so, for an example with the EVA, once you unlock the helmets, you have to get a set amount of kills and using a certain weapon to be able to progress to get different versions of the EVA. So you've got the EVA with the skull face on it, you've got the EVA with the cross on it, you've got different kind of variations of helmets which you could all categorize really as being a similar helmet. Maybe make it so if you get 1000 shotgun kills, you get the Emil helmet. There's all these different things which really could be done, and it would be absolutely fantastic to see these. We do like to do challenges, we do like to do achievements. You know, it's a big part of Xbox and so's Halo, so we'd love to see some things like this coming up. And also, let's have some rarity to the actual items which we're getting. Let's see some rarity to the helmets which we're getting. If you see somebody with a gold visor, you should know that they've completed the campaign Legendary Solo. That would be absolutely fantastic. Also, as a personal kind of like concern, I know if you get max rank in Halo 5, you will be unlocking a special helmet in Halo Infinite. Hoping that it's not the Mark 5 helmet, especially as the Mark 5 is my personal helmet which I use for every Halo game where it's available. And also the fact that if they lock something like such a popular helmet behind that, it's not even an easy thing to do. It's not easy to unlock it in Halo 5. Unless you give us 5 free levels, and then in that case I'm fine, I'll be able to get to max rank. But it is pretty mad. Hopefully you don't unlock something really cool behind that, or you make it so players can unlock it in a different way, maybe by doing a completely legendary challenge. So moving away from the cosmetic side, let's quickly talk about multiplayer. 343 have a tendency with their multiplayer games to update the game and make it worse over time. Look at Halo 4 where they removed Dominion, one of the key staple game modes of Halo 4. Look at Halo 5 where they changed the BR, the sword and the SMG, mostly because the competitive community could use them quite well, but they basically ruined all these weapons. No player asked for it, there was no player who was happy with the changes, and they never reverted it back. I'm really hoping that with Halo Infinite 343 don't make the changes like that. I remember in an interview where they said that we have to make changes, you know, we have to change something, and that's not the right mentality to have. They can't just keep changing stuff. Sometimes you get things right and you should keep it when it's like that, unless the community really do want to change on it. I'm also hoping the Magnum isn't as dominant as it was before. In Halo 5 it's just a go-to weapon in every situation, and it's actually better than the battle rifle, both in range and in kill time. And in accuracy as well, so what's the point really? I hope they change it to the Halo 4 kind of Magnum to make it less reliable, but at the same time a deadly weapon which you can have, and sometimes better than the assault rifle in said situations. Now obviously we do have a few concerns, but we think that this Halo game is going to be absolutely fantastic. As someone in the Discord actually said, it's going to be god tier, but this is very picky. We want the game to be not too fast but not too slow, and it's finding that balance which is incredibly difficult to kind of get. How do you make a game fast-paced but also not too fast-paced? How do you make a game manageable and slow but not too slow? Halo 5 really is kind of like a bunch of angry hornets flying around the map. The movement is fantastic in that game, but it's almost too good. Players can just go around and do whatever they want, which is good, but for somebody who just jumps in, it's like bzzz, everyone just jumping around flustered, vroom, 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 you know. And it's cool to have those movement options with Thruster Pack. I think there's a lot of things which should return, but we don't want something like Halo 3 where you're really floaty and everything's really slow and it's like feeling like you're on the moon all the time, you know. You don't want stuff like that either. So finding a balance is actually pretty difficult to do. I like Halo 2 Anniversary, but I also like Halo Reach and Halo 4. Halo 4 is the most fun for me, but at the same time, Halo 4 feels good with a sprint, but then it feels slow when you're not sprinting. Hopefully we can make it so that sprint is an available option in the Halo games. However, it doesn't really do too much, if that makes sense. Make it so that the base movement speed for characters is pretty decent, and sprint only adds a little bit extra movement speed. Maybe allows you to jump further, for an example, allows you to sprint up a wall to clamber, stuff like that to make sprint pretty viable. At the same time, not making it too OP. I think Halo 5 did a good job with it, where they made it so if you sprint, your shields don't regenerate. Having said that, I don't like that feature too much either. I don't like it too much. Basically, if you get shot, you don't sprint away, you just walk away, which is pretty decent. It's very difficult, and it's just a concern that in Halo Infinite it doesn't work. Hopefully it does, but we don't want everyone buzzing around, we don't want people to be too slow. We kind of want a good balance of it. I actually kind of understand the remove sprint argument, which people have had for quite a while, although I do quite like sprint as well, so I would like to keep it. Now moving on to the final concerns. One of the big concerns is that we're not going to get a full game at launch, kind of like in Halo 5. If you remember, we didn't have things like Infection or Griffball, very basic things. They was added in monthly DLC patches, which did kind of keep the game relevant, but it also negatively affected the game because people was looking at it like, this isn't even complete, why should we play it? And also, UNSC flying vehicles, please guys, it is really important for us to have flying vehicles for the UNSC. In Halo 4 we didn't have anything, and in the beginning of Halo 5 we didn't have anything either. We got the Wasp later on down the line, which is a fantastic air vehicle. However, we can't even pick up passengers with this. It would be really amazing if we just could have something like the Hornet return or the Falcon, so we can pick up people and take them from one area of the map to another. It adds so much to the game, even just from a kind of like clan role-playing kind of perspective. It's so fun to have a vehicle which can transport people, especially with the modded Falcon in Halo Reach, where you could get passengers who would sit in and 2 people gunning while 1 person is driving. You could get 5 people in a Falcon, and the Falcon could have guns as well from the mods, but stuff like that. Please can we have passengers for UNSC flying vehicles? Something like the Hornet would be amazing. And also, can we have fully custom controller mapping? If I want to jump with left on the D-pad for some stupid reason, let me do it. Let me make controller mapping for my own character. The amount of times which I've wanted to use the controller settings and I've had to pick between 2, where maybe I want to crouch with a push in or holding the right trigger, and I can't do that because crouch is B, which means I can't crouch strafe with this control thing, so I have to pick a different moveset where grenade is right trigger for some reason. It's like, why is this? There's so many different things, so many different confusing elements that you can have with the controller settings. Just allow us to customize our own, have a custom one, then give it like a weird cool name. And that's kind of like all the concerns which we've actually got for Halo Infinite. We haven't seen any gameplay yet, so hopefully the game actually does work, it's going to be good. And yeah, that's kind of just my concerns on it and the community's concerns that we've got in the UNSC Discord. If you do want to join that, then there's going to be a link down below. You can join our Discord, we'd love to have you there. But what concerns do you guys have with Halo Infinite? Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.